Devendra Yogendram. Please repeat.
Vasudevendra Yogendram
Natva Jnana Pradam Gurum.
Tattva Bodha
Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattva Bodho Bhidiyate. So, this human being, which is the highest species on this earth, is endowed with an extraordinary superior mind. This mind, which is known as Antahkarana in the Shastras, means Anta means inside, Karana is an instrument. This is a very, very powerful tool a human being has. It's because this mind has got some great capacities. One of the capacities of the mind is that of self-consciousness. A human being is conscious of his own self. He knows the conditions of his body, his mind, his senses. Unlike an animal does not know. Animal doesn't know whether it's tall or short or whether it's white or black. But a human being knows that. And because of this, a human being has a perception about his own self. He has an opinion about his own self, which leads to the self-esteem which we have, If a person looks up upon himself, then he has a high self-esteem. And if he looks down upon himself, then he has a low self-esteem, and that is a cause of trouble in life. Then another capacity which the human mind has is that of free will. A human being has choice in action. He can think and respond to all the situations in life. Unlike an animal, the animal mind is conditioned. Its responses are instinctive, They do not have this choice. Then the human mind has got the capacity to think of the future and the past. It can, plan its future, think and plan, and it can look back on its past experiences, learn and grow because of those experiences. Animal does not think of past and future. It is present in the moment. Actually, that is a big relief for the animals. But the animals can't grow because of that. So a human mind also has the capacity, a very powerful capacity known as the Vikshep Shakti. Vikshep is the power of projection, Because of that, it's also known as a Prakshepan Yantra. Prakshepan Yantra is a projector, the projector by which the movies are projected, Similarly, a human mind has this capacity to project thoughts. Non-stop, it is projecting the thoughts, And these thoughts are either coming from the memory or from imagination. The human mind has a very powerful capacity to imagine. And many a times, because of this imagination, the human mind talks to itself. Sometimes there is a monologue or a dialogue going on in the mind, because this is a capacity the mind has. Then the mind also has the capacity called the conscience. It is the capacity of knowing what is right and wrong. This capacity is present in the human mind right from the beginning. This capacity does not depend upon the human's education, because even a illiterate Adivasi living in some tribal area, he knows what is right and wrong. Even a thief who steals, he needs the cover of dark, and he steals so stealthily, because he knows what he's doing is wrong. But this desire for whatever he's stealing is so strong that it overpowers the conscience, If God had given man a free will and he did not give a conscience this knowledge of right and wrong, and he gave the freedom of action, then there would have been a big defect in the creation, because the human being could go on doing actions which are wrong. He would hurt himself and he would hurt the others. That would be like giving a car without brakes, you know. That would be creating a Frankenstein. So, but God's creation is perfect. He's given a human being a free will, and He's given a human being a conscience, you know. It's because of these capacities of the mind, the human mind can achieve the highest goal, which is that of moksha. But it is also because of this mind and these great capacities which the mind has in thinking of future and past and all that. This human mind is it's troublesome also. You know, human being is insecure. He's unfulfilled and he's unhappy. Every human being may not be positively unhappy, you know, but every human being has an undercurrent of restlessness and unease with his own self, you know. The cause is this mind. Scriptures say, man evam manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho bandhaye vishayasaktam muktam nirvishaya smritam. Man evam manushyanam, this manushya man eva only is the karanam, is the cause of bandha or moksha, of bondage or liberation. Is because of ignorance the human being gets attached to these objects of the world and creates bondage for himself. But it is also because of this mind a human being can get knowledge and detach from this world and achieve the goal of moksha. Everything is this mind. This mind is what God has given the human being, you know. So the human being, you know, all he does is he goes and gets the knowledge of some field here in this world to earn his living, or maybe even out of interest as a hobby. Some field he'll get the knowledge of, but he misses out on the scriptural knowledge which gives self-knowledge, which tells us the goal of life. And because of this self-ignorance, there is big problem in human's life, because he's trying to solve all the problems of his life by finding solutions in this world. And the world is anitya. And we saw in the last class that the worldly happiness and the achievements have got three major defects. They are dukh mishritatvam, atriptikaratvam, and bandhakatvam. Dukh mishritatvam means the happiness which I am getting from the world comes mixed with pain. Either there is pain and effort in getting this happiness, or there is pain and effort in retaining this happiness. And when the object, since it's anitya, it goes away, the human being experiences pain. And the intensity of this pain depends upon the intensity of his attachment to the objects, you know. So there is no absolute happiness in this world. Then the other defect in this world is that whatever a person achieves, it doesn't give him 100% tripti. The 100% contentment doesn't come from this world. Because there is something better, no matter what I achieve in this world, there is something better available in this world. So whatever I have achieved, it gives me contentment for a little while, but then very soon the question what next comes up, you know, because I'm looking at the other thing. So 100% tripti is not there in this world. And because a human being thinks that this world is the only source for security and happiness, he is bound to this world. There is, you know, you feel suffocated because you're bound. You feel as if you're in shackles here, you know. Some people feel. Some people have not even diagnosed the problem up till now. You know, what is the fundamental problem here? So how are they going to look for solutions here? You know? So with, scriptures are telling us, you know, that he's telling humanity that your search for peace, security, and happiness is misplaced. You're looking for that in the wrong place. So first that has to be corrected. Vedanta says, Sukh Dukh Padartho Dvau Priya Vipriya Karikau Sukh Brahma Jagat Dukkham Iti Vedanta Dindima. Dindima, it is a declaration of Vedanta. Vedanta challenges the world, you know. Go find that permanent happiness in this world, and you can come back to Vedanta in whichever janma you want to, because you will have to come back to Vedanta. Because Vedanta is telling you the truth, you know. So it's saying that this Sukh and Dukh, these two padarths, which we get out of priya vipriya kariko, which we are getting out of favorable and unfavorable situations here, has to be understood properly. Sukh Brahma, Jagat Dukkham, idi Vedanta Dindima. The Sukh only you will get from knowing that you are Brahman. And this Jagat can only give Dukkha. Either it gives me direct Dukkha, or when the Sukh giving object goes away, then I experience indirect Dukkha here. So what am I chasing here, Why don't I turn towards the right source? And Vedanta is saying that absolute happiness, total contentment, and this inner sense of security will come only by self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is going to give you self-realization, which is God realization. You're going to realize that you are Brahman. And by this realization, I'm going to be blessed with two jnana phalas, which are Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. Jivan Mukti I will get once I know that I am the infinite Atma, and then moment to moment my life is going to be absolutely comfortable. Then only I can be at ease, at home with myself. Otherwise I'm chasing something for this happiness, And then I will be peaceful, I will be happy only by knowing this. It is a very big revelation of Vedanta. And Videha Mukti. Videha Mukti is mukti from this body, this repeated cycle of birth and death, which we are trapped in. Every janma, we have to do karmas here. And when we do karmas, we get karma phala for that. And already we have innumerable karma phalas in our account because of so many janmas, And in this birth also we do karmas, And what I can exhaust in one life, which is called prarabdha karma, is a very small amount. There are a huge lot of karma phala standing in my account. And so to exhaust them, I have to take another janma. So then, because of janma, I do karma, and because of karma, I have to take a janma. So I'm trapped in this cycle, birth and death, birth and death, birth and death, So if this cycle was a merry-go-round, all maja, fun and all that, then it was fine, But this cycle is full of struggle. It is a sorrow go-round, It is not that fun merry-go-round where everybody is having a nice time. So this, from the time I am born, I did not choose my parents. I did not choose my siblings. I did not choose my relatives. I did not choose the environment I am going to be brought up in. God alone knows what I will get as per my karma phalas I am going to get, And there's so many children who suffer right from the beginning, because that's where they are born. Then even if I, that was okay, then, I will go get educated, I will start earning a living, and then I'll get married, and I'll have children, and I'll have grandchildren. The whole thing is one big struggle. And then the time comes, because I'm going to face old age, disease, and death. And that is what everybody is worried about, That also we are going to get as per our karma phalas only. So this cycle of birth and death, and after I die, then I'm going to be born again. And where I'm going to be born and what I'm going to be born as, only God knows that, because there are 84 lakh species over here present, and I could be born as anything over here, depending upon my karma phalas. So the scriptures are saying, as a human being, you have already got one big factor with you. You're a human being. You can get out of this janma mrityu cycle, by getting videha mukti. And videha mukti is got by self-realization. Once I realize the truth, it is the declaration again of Vedanta, it is a promise of Vedanta that you are going to merge with God, you're going to merge with Brahman, and there is going to be no further this birth and death business, So why am I going to miss out on this great opportunity? I have to put all my effort to get self-knowledge. This knowledge is one big open secret. And in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is known as Raj Vidya, Raj Guhya Yoga. Raj Vidya is the most kingly knowledge, and Raj Guhya is the most kingly secret, And Bhagwan is revealing this secret, but it is an open secret. no, firstly, nobody wants to come, and even if they come, then half the people don't understand what Vedanta is. So subtle, So I don't have to lose this chance and have to make all the effort to get self-knowledge, because I will get Jivan Mukti while living here, and posthumously I'm going to get Videha Mukti, So it is a very attractive, phala which the scriptures are talking about. So we are studying Tattva Bodha to get this knowledge, and we have reached Sadhan Chatushtaya Sampatti. And Sadhan Chatushtaya Sampatti is the fourfold inner wealth which are a sadhana for moksha. And this is not meant for some academic purpose, that we are studying this for some academic purpose. Yeah, I'm studying the scriptures. No, this has to be assimilated and implemented in life. Each seeker of spirituality has to see, when we are talking about this Sadhan Chatushtaya Sampatti, do I have this or I don't have it, So nobody will have it in 100% and nobody will have 0% also. But I have to go on improving on my Sadhan Chatushtaya Sampatti, because this is going to take me to moksha. So the first Sadhan Chatushtaya Sampatti we studied about was Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaha. So this Vivekaha about Nitya and Anitya is very important in this world, because I must know what importance to give to what. And now, after a certain amount of knowledge, I must not go head over heels for any anitya vastu in this world, lose my balance. We have to deal with this world, retaining our balance with this knowledge that whatever I am dealing with is anitya. So I must not lose my balance here. And of course, we have to stop telling the people here that you complete me and he completes me and she completes me. Nobody completes me, I am complete in myself. This is what the scriptures are telling us. You are Purnaha, Purnamadaha. This has to be understood, So only this knowledge can take us towards that we will reach moksha, So this is very important. This Viveka is very important. Then the second Sadhan Chatushtaya Sampatti is Vairagyaha. Vairagya is dispassion, detachment with the anitya vastus, Actually, the natural state of the mind is Vairagya, but it is because of ignorance that I have raga and dvesha, these strong likes and dislikes for all these objects of the world, which create turbulence in my mind, which take the peace of my mind away. Now, suppose there is a bowl of fruits kept on our dining table, and I am hungry. So when I look at that, instantly my likes and dislikes arise. Oh, I like this one. I don't like that fruit. I like this fruit, It is very natural for these likes and dislikes to arise. But if I go close by and I see, oh, these are those decorative fruits, those artificial fruits which are kept on the dining table, instantly my likes and dislikes are going to vanish, because I'm not worried whether that artificial fruit looks beautiful or it doesn't look beautiful. It's artificial, it's unreal. Similarly, the scriptures are telling us this whole world is unreal. This is mithya jagat. And if I come to know that this is mithya jagat I'm dealing with, then my likes and dislikes will start getting diluted, Only a weak-minded person has these attachments, towards the objects of this world, because he is not strong enough and he's dependent on some source of happiness and security, So a person who gives independence to the people he's associated with in relationships, he shows that he has a strong mind. He's not dependent on anybody, This path of spirituality is alone, to alone, all the way alone. Why? Because I have to reach Kaivalyam. I have to reach Advaitam. Advaitam is no Dvaita. There is Advaita. There is nothing which is actually substantially separate over here. Everyone is the manifestation of Brahman here, So, we were born alone. We are going to die alone. Nobody came with us, and nobody will even go with us, even if they say that they love us very much. Nobody is coming with us. So if we came alone and we have to go alone, then we have to learn how to live alone here, We must give up all these mental attachments, dependences on this world over here. There's a beautiful song written by Rabindranath Tagore in Bengali, Tumi Akla Chalo Re. It is so beautiful, You have the guts to walk alone. So, what does that? Walk alone doesn't mean that I have to go and sit down in some cave or become a sannyasi and go. That is a choice, person's choice. He can go and sit down. But this is only that I have to give up these mental crutches here. I must, not be dependent on the objects over here. My well-being should not be dependent on this world, the objects of this world. I have to be comfortable just with myself. This is the aim of spirituality, And this strength, we have to face our life with strength and courage over here. This is what we must pray for. We must pray for strength and courage from God. And strength and courage does not come by going to astrologers and numerologists and whatever they are, those Nadi Jyotish and wearing all those gems, Pukhraj on this finger for this trouble and ruby for this trouble and emerald for this trouble and pearl to keep anger away. This is what I've heard, So see how many people are wearing all this here? They're just revealing that they have such a weak mind, Even when the politicians do namaskar, half the time I see they're wearing those huge gems on their fingers, Because they're scared to face life. So, we came here in this world crying as babies, but if I get this knowledge, I can leave this world smilingly as a jnani, So this path of spirituality, in this path, we have to evolve from world dependence to first God dependence, Instead of having this fake sense of security that, oh, my husband is there, my wife is there, my son is there, my daughter is there, I have to have this 100% conviction that God is there for me, Once God is there, what can a human being do, It is even foolish to think that human beings have capacity of their own to help anybody. No, it is God helping through those human beings. So if I have trust and faith in God, then why am I worried about these human beings here, There is a very beautiful bhajan which is Janaki Nath Sahay Kare Jab Kaun Bigad Kare Nar Tero. What can anybody do over here when Janaki Nath is giving me the help, So once I get this conviction in my mind that God is there for me, half the problem is solved right there. So our journey is, moving from world dependence first to God dependence, Especially for a devotee, Bhagwan has said in Bhagavad Gita, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Kaunteya Arjuna, Kunti Putra, pratijanihi. Jani means pratijani, please know this very well. Name bhakta pranashyati. My bhakta will never meet with a bad end. He will never get destroyed. He will reach where he has to reach. So have trust and faith in God, first. But that doesn't end there. With God dependence, my spiritual journey doesn't end. From God dependence, I have to move to self-dependence, That is, from having trust and faith in God, I must move to having trust and faith in God's teachings, which are given in the scriptures. So this teaching has to be assimilated, it has to be implemented in life. And once I do that, then it is independence, it is freedom, it is moksha. So this is it, So then the third sadhan chatushte sampatti which we were studying was Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti. So this is a group of 6 virtues which a seeker of spirituality must have. And the first one we saw in the last class was Shama. Shama is tranquility of the mind, which is got by Manonigraha. Manonigraha is mastery of the mind. So Tattva Bodha does not tell us how to master the mind, because this is a primary text. But the other texts, which are deeper texts, they talk about it. So they say that Manonigraha, the mastery of the mind, can be had by knowing the nature of the mind, by understanding the nature of the mind, and by knowing the technique of this mastery of the mind. So the nature of the mind is, as the scriptures tell us, is that it is a constant flow of thoughts. Constantly thoughts are flowing. That is the nature of the mind. When we are using the mind in any conscious activity, we have voluntary thoughts in the mind. And when the mind is not involved in any activity, it will go on producing involuntary thoughts. It's not going to stop. So one is that the kind of involuntary thought a person has depends on person to person, you know. Why? Because it depends on the data I have put into my mind. You know, if I'm going to sit and gossip the whole day and talk evil about everybody, then that's the kind of thoughts I'm going to get. People are so foolish that they don't know the damage they are doing to themselves, you know. So we have to apply that Gandhiji's principles of Bura mat dekho, bura mat suno, bura mat bolo. Those represented by those three monkeys. Why should I put all this garbage in my mind? You know, when I don't eat garbage food because I'm concerned about my physical health, then why would I put garbage rubbish in my mind? My mind, which is so powerful, is going to trouble me, you know, if I put, because the involuntary thoughts are as per all this rubbish which I have put in my mind, you know. Then out of all the involuntary thoughts, what I give importance to, what I value, those are going to keep cropping up in the mind, you know, non-stop. Anything I give importance to. So much so, there is a joke told by one of the Swamijis that person had gone for meditation. He wanted to know the tips. So the Swamiji just wanted to try out this guy, whether he was really a true seeker or not. So he says, you think of everything else except don't think of a monkey, you know. And then when he sat down, because he's giving importance of not trying to think of a monkey, the only thoughts which are coming in his mind is all sorts of monkeys coming in the mind. So this is the nature of the mind. If I give importance to something, the mind is going to constantly go on thinking about that. So to the mano nigraha is, you know, trying to, we have control over these involuntary thoughts, you know. I develop a capacity to stop these involuntary thoughts when I want to vacate my mind from these involuntary thoughts when I want to, so that I can use my mind for any activity, and especially to study Vedanta. So the technique which Bhagavan tells in Bhagavad Gita, we saw in the last class, is abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grahayate. Grahayate, you can control your mind by abhyasa and vairagya. So abhyasa is practicing, you know, practicing that I need to become alert and mindful, you know, in all my activities. The mind it is chanchal, it tends to run away, you know, but then I must bring the mind back, whether I'm doing meditation, whether I'm doing japa, whether I'm doing any activity. When the mind runs away, bring it back, you know, runs away, bring it back again. So as I keep practicing this, I'm going to start getting some control over the mind. And also, you know, whenever these negative thoughts come in the mind, you know, the troublesome, worrisome thoughts when they come in the mind, we must just nip the thought in the bud, you know. We must not encourage this or go along with these thoughts, you know, or just keep talking about that problem of ours, or just keep telling everybody that problem of ours, because by that I'm repeating the thought in my mind. And single thought is never sorrow or depression. It is the thought build up which gives sorrow and depression. And that happens because of my cooperation with that thought, you know. We don't know, but then we just, oh, this is the worry, this is the worry. And that way I'm repeating that thought again and again. And, you know, this thought build up is so powerful. It is just like a ripple turning into a storm or a cyclone. And when there is a cyclone in Bay of Bengal, then there is depression there and rain. And then when there is a cyclone, a mental cyclone in my mind, then I am depressed and there's rain in the form of tears, you know, non-stop. So this also needs abhyasa. You know, just nip the thought in the bud, not encouraging, you know, non-cooperation movement with the thoughts, these negative, unnecessary thoughts. And I must know how to put positive thoughts in my mind. So this is the technique of mastery. Then all this is going to help me get then vairagya, vairagya also Bhagavan says is going to give you tranquility of the mind. All this raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, lobh, mad, moh, matsarya, why would I put all this rubbish in my mind, seeing somebody happy, why do I have to be jealous about anybody? You feel happy when at least there are humans who are happy, So be happy for their sake. If I'm going to lodge this hatred in a mind, that person whom I have hatred for may not even know that, I hate him. But here I'm burning myself up, Just like, when you this matchstick, when you light, it burns itself up, before it can light anything else. It's going to burn itself up. Similarly, I'm going to burn myself up by all this hatred and jealousy and all that. I need to have good feelings for everybody here. Don't look at somebody, and if somebody is looking good, then you start feeling jealous, and then you hate that one for small. That is damaging my own self. So vairagya is very important. No raga, no dvesha. Stay away from all this, and this is going to bring us tranquility of the mind, peace of mind, by which I can study Vedanta. Not only Shama is required for Vedanta, Shama is required for us to live our day-to-day lives, Only when my mind is peaceful and quiet can I hear the birds chirping, can I see the flowers blooming, This beautiful Ishvara Shrishti is missed out by people whose minds are always preoccupied. There's a very beautiful English poem by William Henry Davies. He says, what is this life full of care when there is no time to stand and stare? I don't have a little bit of time to look at this extremely beautiful creation created by God. You just see that blue sky and the green leaves and the flowers blooming. Every time you look up, there are birds flying in formations. What else would you need here? Why would you need Tom, Dick and Harry here? Just look at this world. It's going to give you such peace of mind just looking at this world. So I can only get that if my mind is tranquil and peaceful, And then also Shama is required if peace of mind is required for my physical health, If I have a mind always full of anxiety, tension and worries, I'll land up with diseases like high BP and stroke and heart attacks and all that. So Shama is very important, This is the first Shamati Shat Sampatti. Then we will read further. Uparama kaha. Please read. Chakshuradi bahyendra nigraha. Chakshuradi bahyendra nigraha. So the Shishya is asking, Dhamma kaha. What is Dhamma? And the Guru is saying, Chakshur Adi. Chakshu means eyes. Adi means the other four senses. The nose, the ears, the tongue and the skin. So Chakshur Adi. Bahyendra Nigraha. Bahy Indra. The Indriyas, these Gyan Indriyas, which are turned outwards. Bahya. Their Nigraha, their control is known as Dhamma. So the mind is known as Antakarana. It's an inner instrument. And the senses are known as Bahya Karana. They are known as external instruments. Because the senses are turned outwards towards the world. They perceive this world, This beautiful Ishvara Shrishti is entering my mind through these 5 gateways known as the Gyan Indriyas. And this beautiful Srishti of Ishvara is made up of 5 sense objects, which are Sparsh, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So whatever I can see, the forms and the colors, the eyes are going to perceive. The world of sound is perceived by the ears. The world of taste is perceived by the tongue. The world of smell is perceived by the nose. And the world of touch is perceived by our skin. There is no 6th object in this world. So 5 objects and 5 senses. And these are turned outwards, and by this I am getting the knowledge of this world. Now these senses which are there, just like the mind is very powerful, these senses are also very powerful in their own individual strength. They are known as devatas in the Shastras, So in Vedanta, light is defined as that by which I come to know anything. And by these senses I come to know this whole Jagat, So they are known as devatas. All the devatas and God is in the form of consciousness, in the form of awareness, in the form of light, That is what we say, the light of consciousness. So these senses are also very powerful and they're known as devatas. There is a very beautiful imagery given in the scriptures. It's given in Bhagavad Gita, it's given in Kathopanishad, of 5 horses pulling a chariot, Now those 5 horses represent our 5 senses. And just as the horses are so powerful, similarly these senses are very powerful, So these powerful horses, like senses, they can drag a person towards their various sense objects, Because when the senses come in contact with the sense objects, there is pleasure generated. When I eat something nice, it gives me pleasure. When I see something nice, it gives me pleasure. So these senses, are driven towards the sense objects. And if I do not have these senses under my control, then these horses like senses are going to derail my life, How? Because I am going to be dragged towards this only. The people who don't have any higher goals in life, they don't know how to get Vidya Ananda, they don't know how to get Dharma Ananda, they're only busy in getting Vishaya Ananda. Vishaya Ananda is these objects of the world, Whenever the senses interact with the sense objects, some pleasure is generated, so they spend their life doing just that. Earn money, enjoy. Earn money, enjoy. So such people are known as asuras in the Shastras, like worst, gross people, waste of human birth, because human birth is meant for a higher purpose, So we have to have these senses under our control. If I don't have, then I don't know, it's like, when you take the dog for a walk, is whether the dog is taking the owner for a walk or the owner is taking the dog, you can't make out because the dog is running in front and the owner is running at the back, So these senses can drive us like that. We'll just be like, we don't know anything, whatever comes up, we are just doing that, So I must not allow my senses to enter the wrong territory of this world, I have to have control over my senses. Nothing evil should enter my mind. And these are the gateways who are going to let it enter. Then even if the territory is not wrong, I must know exactly how much and what to allow in my mind, Now, if to see, I must know what to see and how much to see. Some people are just sitting and watching that idiot box, that TV, the whole day the TV is on in some people's houses, that they show so much of violence and so much of garbage, that all that is going in the mind. And what goes in the mind gets registered for good in the mind. And it gets stored in the memory, and then it's going to crop up as involuntary thoughts. So I don't have to allow, and today's biggest problem is this mobile, So everybody is hooked onto the mobile. So much so that I've seen those two-wheeler drivers, the driver, not the pillion rider, drivers looking at the mobile, But this is total addiction and lack of dhamma, So we have to have control over our senses and we must know where to stop. Then this organ of ours, the tongue, this is a very powerful organ because it has got 2 indriyas. It has got Gyan Indriya because by that we can taste the world of taste, and the other is it is a Karm Indriya by which we speak, So it is a very powerful organ and we have to have control over this. So I must know exactly what to eat, how much to eat, We don't, we have to eat to live and not live to eat. People think eating is a pastime here because it is giving that, the pleasure of taste. So you go on eating only, And this obesity has become the greatest health problem in this world, Look at the obese people around. So we must know how to have control, just know when to stop. We are not eating for some pleasure of taste, we are eating to appease our hunger. The animals don't eat an extra morsel, you know. You can see, you can put the best of things, even for these stray dogs I've seen, you put this in and they will not eat many a times. So, but human beings are busy eating, you know. So one is we must have control over the Gyan Indriya. The other is when we speak, we must know exactly what to speak, how to speak, and mainly we must know how loud to speak, you know. Because we Indians are famous for screaming, you know, everybody screaming from one end of the corridor to the other. It's like we used to make those ISD calls, you know, earlier. For no rhyme or reason, everybody's screaming, and certain buildings, you know, there's an echo, and the children can't study, the people are, but humans, we Indians mainly, we're just screaming on top of our voice. We must not speak what hurts others. We have to be very sensitive about that. A cultured person is recognized instantly by how he speaks and what he speaks, you know. And when we don't have anything substantial to speak, then it's better to keep quiet. Observe maunam, you know. Just go on talking for the heck of talking, you know, people are talking here. So this is all because of lack of Dhamma, you know. And Dhamma is very important, because when my senses are in control, then my mind is going to be in control. All the Shamadhi Shat Sampatti and all the Sadhan Chatushtay Sampatti, their aim is to get a tranquil mind so that I can study Vedanta, you know, that is the main thing. So this is Dhamma, and then we will read the next one. Uparama kaha swadharma anushtanam eva. So the Shishya is asking, Uparama kaha, what is Uparama? And the Guru says, Swadharma anushtanam eva. Swa means mine, dharma in this context means my duty, and anushtanam means performing, eva means alone. Performing my duties alone is known as Uparamaha. Now, this is a very unique definition given in Tattva Bodha. Otherwise, in the other texts, Uparama is defined as withdrawal from this world, you know. Either you withdraw as a sannyasi, you become a monk and totally focus on the studies of the scriptures, because a monk is, he's relieved from all the responsibilities. He's given the permission from Shastras. A sannyasi doesn't have any responsibilities here. He no family responsibilities, no social responsibilities, so that he can pursue the goal of moksha, you know. So either we withdraw by becoming a sannyasi, or else live here in this world amongst the people and just have a sannyast mind. You know, sannyasta mind is that I'm done with materialism, I'm not pursuing materialism, I'm pursuing spirituality. That is my goal, but still I stay put here, I do my duties, and my main aim is spirituality. So either I am, I have external sannyasa, or this is internal sannyasa. And actually internal sannyasa is more difficult, because external sannyasa you don't have anything around, but here, while living in this world, while taking care of everybody, I have to have a sannyasta mind. So this is what Uparama is in other texts, but Tattva Bodha is telling us that Swadharma Anushtanameva. Whenever I perform my duties, because I have this conscience in my mind, you know, I know what is right and wrong. I know what I'm supposed to do, you know. And if I go against my conscience, then I'm going to have a mind which is full of conflict. It's going to have guilt in the mind. And such a mind is always turbulent and agitated, you know. The people who knowingly, they know all this, but still they live their lives as per their likes and dislikes, you know. I don't like doing this, I'm not going to do it. I like doing this, so I'm going to do it, you know. So such a person in the scriptures, he's considered an adharmic person. He's known as a prakrita purushaha. And the person who abides by dharma, who avoids adharma is known as a Samskrita Purusha in the Shastras, And we have to see to it that I perform my duties for my own sake. I cannot live this life as per my whims and fancies, I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it, You are going to pay the price for it because your mind is not going to spare you. So this conscience, this has to be in children, it has to be reinforced, this knowledge of right and wrong. The right and wrong knowledge is there, but there is so much of temptation in this world that this worldly temptation overpowers the conscience, So the parents have a duty to reinforce this in the children that this is right, this is wrong, don't do this, this is an upbringing I have to give to my children, Yet we see so many people here doing everything wrong. So then we say, oh, these people have killed their conscience, they've killed it. Or they didn't have parental guidance, their parents didn't teach them anything. This is the first thing which we are going to think, When many of the parents themselves are doing everything wrong. They are living an adharmic life themselves, if you're going to live a life like this, then what are you going to teach your children, And the children, they learn more by observing their parents' life than by the advices they give, The biggest teacher for the children is the role model, the life which the parents are living. So I have to live a right life so that my children follow it, And I am giving these children to the society, And it is my duty that I put in the best of people in the society here. So I have to teach my children what is right and wrong. So I definitely cannot go by my whims and fancies, A human being is duty bound. And especially in our culture and especially in the army, we keep using this word duty. I'm on duty, I'm going for duty, because it's my duty. In the West, they may say I'm going to work and all. But we have also become, how we are aping the West is not a joke, So, but we are people, we have to remain very duty bound. I must know my duties. Firstly, I must fulfill the duties to my own self, I must do the right things, I must have a disciplined life, and I have to pursue the right goals. It's a duty to myself, Then I have duty towards my parents, and then I have duty towards the society I'm living in. I have duties for my country, I'm duty bound. Then I have duties for humanity. As a human being, I have certain duties here. I have duties to these plants and animals. Just look what these animals and plants are doing for our sake. The trees are just standing there in that heat and rain and all that and giving us shade. They are giving us fruits. They are not eating those fruits themselves. They're giving it for us. We are breathing this air all the time, free of cost, and we don't even ever think of doing anything about it. All we're doing is polluting, polluting. Anywhere the humans put their foot, they'll start the pollution, We are drinking water, we are alive because of that. And all the water bodies in India are polluted, It's a shame that we don't have this kind of sensitivity. It is my duty to take care of all the 5 elements, Out of the 5 elements, 4 elements can kill us. We know that, except for space, the rest of the 4 elements, fire, air, water, earth, they can produce cures for us. Just see what is happening in LA. So, any mistake we make here, humans themselves are going to pay a heavy price for it. So, I am duty bound here, So, there are certain duties which scriptures talk about. They say that there are 5 kind of karmas they use, which is a duty. They are known as nitya karma, naimittika karma, kamya karma, prayashchitta karma, and nishiddha karma. These are the 5 kind of karmas which are mentioned in the scriptures. Nishiddha karma are the prohibited karmas. We must not do anything wrong here. So there are certain karmas, nishiddha. Don't drink alcohol, don't tell lies. The nishiddha karmas, given in the scriptures. The karma kanda talks about it. And then there are prayashchit karmas. If I have done anything unknowingly, I've made a mistake, then God gives me a chance to correct that wrong karma which I have done. So there are certain prayashchit karmas which are given in the scriptures, by doing prayers, by doing japas, by observing fasts and all that, we can undo our wrong which is done. There is one thing which the scriptures say, for one thing there is no prashchit karma, and that is ingratitude. A person who doesn't have the sense of gratitude, he is a big sinner, and there is no prashchit karma for that. The person has to pay heavily by the law of karma. So for everything which I am getting in this world, I have to have the sense of gratitude. So the prashchit karmas are there. Then there are kamya karmas. Kamya karmas, kam means desire, So there are certain karmas which everybody, human being, is doing to fulfill their own desires, and that is mainly for their material growth here, to get the material prosperity, are the kamya karmas. So it's all right, we have to, doesn't mean that I have to live here, all this external world is required, but there is a limit to what I require, So gradually from kamya karmas, we have to start bringing in some nishkam karmas. I have to start seeing that whenever I am getting benefit, you can get your benefit, but it should not be at the behest of somebody else's misery, The other person in front also should be benefited. That I have to see, So as I keep seeing that, the nishkam karmas will increase, and then from this materialism, I will start getting away. I'll start going away from this materialism. I will turn towards spirituality. So the kamya karmas which I'm doing, I have to do till certain limit, but then I have to start doing nishkam karmas. Then there are nitya karmas and naimittik karmas mentioned in the Shastras. Nitya karmas are those karmas which I have to do daily, and that is my duty, So performing duties towards my own self, performing duties in the house. There's some nitya karmas, my prayers, daily prayers I have to do, nitya. And naimittik karmas are, which are occasional duties, naimittik. These also are important. Even in the society, there are certain things which I have to do. So I have to follow those nitya and naimittik karmas. And if I follow a life as given by the scriptures, the Karma Kanda talks about the religious way of life, or telling us all about the do's and don'ts. The Vidhi and Nisheda, it is called. That if you live this kind of a life, that peace, tranquility, that sense of security, which you are actually looking for. The humans don't know that this is what they are looking for. So they are seeking only this inner security and peace, that if you live this kind of a life, the end result is going to be that. So along with the certain things which we require in the world, but not concentrating only upon that. Imagine if I have a huge bank balance and I have so many houses and property here, but then I'm sitting with so much of this burdened mind, ashantasya manobharaha, this burdensome mind of mine, what is the point? It makes no sense, because moment to moment you are in misery and you have got this huge bank balance and you've got so much of stuff here, but you yourself are so miserable, So it is foolish to live that kind of a life. So if I am going to perform my duties properly, I am going to have a tranquil mind, and once I have a tranquil mind, I can study Vedanta, So the scriptures also talk about Panch Mahayagna. This is also a Hindu who believes, who accepts the scriptures as a way, as a guide to live his life. They have to, it is compulsory for them. It is known as Panch Mahayagna. 5 Yagna, the word Yagna comes from the root Yaj. Yaj means to worship, and Yagnaha means the act of worship, So a human being is bound to Panch, the 5 duties a human being has to perform. They are known as Dev Yagnaha, Pitra Yagnaha, Rishi Yagnaha or Brahma Yagnaha, Manushya Yagnaha or Bhut Yagnaha. So I have to express my gratitude. As I said, this is first requirement for a spiritual seeker, is to have an attitude of gratitude, And first and foremost, I have to express my gratitude to Deva, to God, you know. So there is, I must do that by doing my daily pujas, by doing meditation, by doing japa. So it is called Dev Yagna. And by this, I am reaping, I am expressing my gratitude. I'm indebted to God. He's given me this life, and I'm here on this earth, walking on this earth. The earth is not charging us. The air is not charging me. The water is not charging me. Sunlight is not charging me, So I'm present here. Then at least I'm, indebted. I have a rin on me. So I have to repay this by Dev Yagna, by my worship to God. Then there is Pitra Yagna. I am indebted to my family. I have to serve my family with a reverential attitude, because what I am today is because of my family, how much they have sacrificed for us, in bringing us up and seeing to our health, seeing to our education. And when the old age comes, then we don't have to take and put them in an old age home. So in our culture, we have so much of reverence for the elders. We first take their blessings before we do anything. We should not start aping this Western culture, So expressing my gratitude by serving my family is known as Pitra Yagna. Then Rishi Yagna. Rishi Yagna, or also called Brahma Yagna. Our great masters, they gave Brahma Vidya so selflessly. What did they get out of it? They did not even ever think, that I'm going to be benefited. No, they are worried about the benefit of humanity. They want to see the human beings happy. So they sacrifice their entire life, And how do I I'm indebted to them, for having given this Brahma Vidya to us. So how do I repay them? So I can express my gratitude by studying the scriptures. First thing I study, and at least pass it on to my next generation, Pass on these values, pass on this information, pass on this knowledge to my people, Then the third is Manushya Yagna. I live in a society, and every human being I must take care of. We do not realize that, all these people who are working around the clock, and the courier fellow getting me something, and my dhobi getting this work done for me, and this, just see how my life is moving. Without their help, how would I be living here? So I am indebted to all the human beings, my friends, my family, all the people who are serving me. So I take care of them, help the needy. Anybody who needs help, I should be there for their help. I express my gratitude towards them by giving my gratitude and help to them. This is Manushya Yagna. Then Bhut Yagna. Bhut Yagna is taking care of all the plants and animals here. The plants and animals, they are the manifestation of God, and in our culture we pray to so many trees and animals because we know they are the manifestation of God. And a human being, just because he's an evolved human being, has no right to trouble any animal or plant here, Not even a blade of grass and not even an ant should be troubled because of my presence here. We cannot ever cage birds and put the fishes in tanks and put animals in a cage, What if somebody put us in a cage and gave us food? Would we like that? I mean, that is what a prison is all about. And nobody wants to stay in a prison because you've taken the freedom away, And a human being, just because God gave him a little higher mind and higher body, he is troubling all the animals and the plants around here. So I have to be very careful. I have to express my gratitude, and my presence here on the earth should not trouble any animal or bird, So that is Bhut Yagna. And so a human being is bound by all these duties. This life is not meant to have fun and frolic here. Moment to moment, I'm duty bound, and a person who lives this kind of a life, not only is he peaceful in himself, see all those great people who have lived and gone. Till date we are, doing namaskaras to them, So look at Gandhiji and look at all these people, Why? Because they lived such a selfless life. Their life did not bother anybody, So Uparama is Swadharma Anushtanam. When I follow my duties, I'm going to have a peaceful mind, and this peaceful mind is going to be taking us to this highest goal of moksha. So we'll end here. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya